Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Satellite Book Club seminar series. Brian Gockel here, Office of OBS. We are thrilled to be back after our 6-week hiatus to be with you, and thank you for joining. Title of today's presentation is TOWRpro RPM version 26 Spotlight. Our facilitator today is James V. Clark, the ITO in WFO Tucson, Arizona. Some reminders before we get underway. This session is being recorded as usual. Please see the pinned message in the chat. We'll take Q&A as usual at the end of the presentation, and post your questions in the chat. We'll field them from there. Interested in presenting? Please fill out the form in the chat. We're always happy to have presenters and facilitators, and we can give you some coaching on that in terms of preparing your materials. There's also a feedback form coming in the chat, which if you have any feedback for us, please use the form to provide it. Training assistance is available, and if you need any, please contact Ross Van Til for either training or identification of training materials. Thanks, as always, to OCLO, the Geo and Leo programs, and all the participating organizations here today. A few words on our presenters. Our presenters are legends for all their accomplishments here in the satellite domain. I'm sitting here with one of them, Lee Byerly. TOWRS team lead, has joined the team in 2015. Hard to believe it's been 10, and has since supported the Geo and Leo programs in the Office of Observations in the transition of new satellite capabilities into operations. Prior to coming to TOWRS, Lee supported the USGS Land Remote Sensing Program and Earth Observation Requirements initiatives from 2013 to 2015. And before that, Lee also served in the U.S. Air Force as a weather officer for 20 years. In addition, we have Matt Foster here. Matt's a meteorologist and systems engineer supporting the TOWRS program, where he applies his combined background in atmospheric science and programming and system administration to enhance forecaster access to satellite data and the analytical tools. Before joining TOWRS, Matt worked for more than three decades. I almost said 3 years, 3 decades with the Weather Service. In operational meteorology and information technology. He brings extensive experience in Python development, PostgreSQL, Linux administration, and data workflows to support NWS operational readiness. Happy to have Matt with us here as well, with Lee, joining together. Matt holds a Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Science in the Atmospheric Science from the University of Kansas. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to our presenters, Lee and Matt, to begin today's SBC presentation.
Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you, JV, for being here to oversee our Q&A and discussion today. It's an honor to be with you all and to go over the TOWRS content. And so without further ado, why don't we go to the next slide. We're going to give you a background on the TOWRpro RPM. We're going to talk about its contents and what's packaged this time, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail of some of the key areas there. So if you go on to the next one, Cheyenne, just a quick background. The packages that we call TOWRpro are intended to accelerate the deployment of new capabilities and fixes into AWIPS. And then we target those configurations that are mature into the AWIPS baseline. So as we'd like to demonstrate, these are features and updates that are based on your inputs and ways that we can rapidly get things into operation, working through things like product evaluations, book clubs like these sessions here. And so we take the opportunity to work end-to-end testing and early evaluation with these products. And the OPG has been key in that, as well as the regional focal points, who are really the main emphasis of our audience that we'd like to present to today. So if we go on to the next slide, we can see what's in a package. So initially we would provide new updates to EDX ingest rules or color maps, all at the site level, and that's still the case. And what we've added in some recent updates is a local app that installs and does some local generation, things like the CIRA Geocolor for GOES and the 5-minute GLM. So that's still included in a package, including this update. And sometimes we get the questions about previous updates that we don't go into full detail on, but those are continued. Those are carried on into the next update. So we'll continue to see lightning cast, things like the gridded new caps configurations and so forth that are thrown into the site level with the next release. So sometimes content should be removed and goes away on purpose because it becomes part of the AWIPS baseline. And so let's go into what we're going to have in this updated version, which is now available. So if we go into the next slide. So just looking back a little, version 25 was released last January, and we appreciated the flexibility and willingness as we were moving AWIPS baselines and sites were installing different versions. But that has fully fielded as of about spring or so, and along came an AWIPS cloud version for the IMETs in the summer of 2025. And so a quick thank you to everyone who's helped us and provided inputs, particularly the ITOs and SUs and focal points for the fielding and preparing of not only the version 25, but this new update that's available today. In particular, the group listed here over relatively short notice, including JV at Tucson to go in and install this, Steven Sigler this morning, and to give us feedback. So there's the link to the install procedure, and we'll be sending that around further, and it's also at the back of the presentation here. So, okay, so let's go into more details about the features. The next slide. Okay, so going out to all sites in this update includes a enhancement to the GOES CIRA Geocolor. So it brings in ProxyVis, and we'll talk a little bit more of that in a few, along with many others in the list here. Everyone's going to see some faster loading of the GOES VIS IR sandwich. It's now computed locally for some faster load times. Some color vision deficiency work that's been done and presented in previous SBCs is going to be included. There's also an opportunity to provide on-demand NWS cloud delivery of products, and we've done that in the past. You might recall for things like the NGFS fires back in version 25. And so we've added some new ones by request, and those are listed there. Some microwave imagery and rain rates, wave altimeters that have gone out to the centers and Pacific region for some years are going to be available by request. Same with some precipitation estimates for Alaska region. There's also some new material here from the National Mesonet program that we'll go over briefly toward the end. And finally, we're preparing the Beers ABI flood map blend. So the main thing here is this GeoPrime. It refers to just an informal term of being able to do an on-demand subscription request and delivery to your office. And so if we go to the next slide, here's a little bit more that all sites should see in the update, and they're listed here. There are some cursor value readout issues that have come about for some products, and for products that the TOWRS team is dealing with in sending out, we can go and make some updates to those so that they will be improved and displayed properly. And so that's the first item there. There's a whole list of other things here. I won't go over each individual one. I will point out there's a key update coming from OSPO with the global geocomposite in January, where some metadata changes have been put in. And so we're going to be ready for that by going to version 26. And a couple other things here that be happy to go over in more detail with you if you like. And if you go into the next slide, there's also one more update that we've included. And this is a set of reference bundles and procedures you can pull up under the site level now. And there's going to be a severe, a winter, and a fire themed one. And these are collected from some volunteers around the Weather Service who've given us some greatest hits type procedures. And many thanks to especially Binghamton Forecast Office and many others for not only providing their procedures to us, but for giving ideas and discussions on how to implement this type of thematic display. And so there's more to come on that in an upcoming SBC, but I just wanted to point out that those will be in the mix here when version 26 is installed. Okay. So if we go into the next slide, I'm going to pass it over to Matt.
All right, thanks, Lee. And Lee mentioned up at the top and under the background that some of the content for the new RPM is driven by SBC presentations, just like these. And this is an excellent example. A couple months ago, Curtis Seaman from CIRA gave a presentation about the improvements that they have been making to the GeoColor product. So we got with Curtis and found out what those improvements were, and got some code from him, and we've implemented that for this RPM. The two big things that are changed in this version of the GeoColor is in the night scene over the oceans. It now uses ProxyVis, which incorporates, in addition to the previous bands that went into GeoColor, also includes band 11 and band 15 to give a visible like image over the nighttime scene. And the reason that's only done over the oceans is because over land and over the inland oceans, the presence of snow and ice and low clouds together can create a confusing scene. So that's limited to over the ocean for the use of ProxyVis. The other improvement that's been made to the GeoColor is with regard to the terminator between day and night. That terminator, or twilight zone as they call it, has been tightened up significantly. So you actually get about an extra hour of the daytime scene, because it doesn't start transitioning into the night scene quite so quickly, and that transition is a bit smoother. So better nighttime scene over the ocean and a better terminator. So Cheyenne, if you go on to the next slide, we've also improved the VIS IR sandwich product. Now this has been included in AWIPS for quite a while, but it wasn't getting used quite so much because it was very slow to load. It was done as a drive parameter on the cave side. There was a lot of data transfer from EDEX, and then computational and memory load on cave made it somewhat of a resource hog. So with this version of the RPM, we've moved the creation of the VIS IR sandwich onto the back end, sort of like GeoColor has done, and now it loads very quickly. Previously, with the drive parameter version, it would take perhaps 10 to 15 seconds to load. And with this version, because it's just pulling a red, green, and blue from the back end, it loads in about 2 to 3 seconds. And one extra thing that we did, coming from my longtime friend and former KU classmate Greg Noonan, he said, "Hey, what you guys have done here is great. Why don't you move it up onto the top level satellite menu to really show off these improvements?" So VIS IR sandwich has been moved up to the front satellite menu and loads much faster. Next slide, please. Another improvement that we've included in this RPM also comes from a former co-worker of mine, Katie Vigil, who used to work at the Ops Proving Ground, along with Emily Burnt, and with some work they did with Bill Line, came up with a version of the dust RGB that is optimized for those with color vision deficiency. So they've improved the color contrast for those with the I believe it's the red-green color vision deficiency, so that this product is much more useful. And this was also the topic of a previous satellite book club, if you want to go back and get some more information on this. Next slide, please. Another thing that with the introduction of OB 2342 in AWIPS came the Java 17 upgrade, which updated some other libraries in the system, and we started running into some cursor sampling issues on satellite products. the TOWRS team identified a fix for those sampling issues, which involves a slight change in the way that the data is delivered. So any products that TOWRS is touching or creating, we've been able to go in and make an adjustment to the data that's being delivered so that the cursor sampling works once again. For data that's delivered via the SBN, which we don't touch at TOWRS, we have been working with the AWIPS program to make sure we have tickets opened so that those baseline products such as fog and low stratus can also have their cursor sampling corrected. And now going on to the next slide, we're going to get into some of the polar data that we're bringing in this new RPM, and I'll kick it back over to Lee for this.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, a handful of some others to share with you here. The weather system follow-on updates of DMSP went into availability earlier this year, and this early fall we were asked to do kind of a quick response, quick delivery of the WSFM microwave imagery to the centers. And so what we're showing here is a couple examples. There's an RGB on the fly that can be done along with the individual bands not shown, but also there's a rain rate product. And really the purpose here is to make this available to all postal sites, any sites that might be interested in also including this data here on demand. There's also a link there to the Polar Planner, which is a tool that can show when the passes will be in the vicinity, along with the menu buttons there. Another one that we have in the next slide was a request from Alaska region to bring in some precipitation rate data, and this is using a NASA algorithm that is applied to several different microwave instruments. And thanks to Becca and the group there in Alaska region, we were able to do some initial checkout last summer of this product suite, and we're going to have it available on demand. Currently, it's configured up for Alaska, but we're happy to help configure up any sites that want to bring this product as well to get this information for oceanic regions. Along with that, we have one more oceanic coastal mission set of products here. If you go to the next slide, and that's wave altimetry. The wave altimetry that you see here is plotted over at NHC and OPC in a manner that gives a readout of each of the different altimeter sensors. And Pacific region has also been pulling this data in for a few years. In this update, we make it available as well to sites for coastal missions as needed. And so again, if you reach out to us, we'll make sure we set those subscriptions up for you. The wave heights and wind speeds are included in the product, and a cursor sampling gives the instrument that's being sampled. And there's the location of the product in the menu as well. If we go on to the next slide, here's a GOES product fix. Basically, we had some display issues with the cloud optical depth and the cloud particle size. These are found under the derived products menus for Geo, and we were able to get a fix in some quality flag changes. So you'll see that product displaying properly again with this update. Finally, for the next slide, this next one, actually no, two more. So there's a number of flood products that are now available from VIIRS as well as ABI. There's actually a new daily product that blends these instruments together and covers the region shown there in the map. So we're still gearing up for this data flow, which is available operationally, and we're looking to do some updates with it and have some production available. The configurations are in place, but the data flow will be ready in January. And finally, on the last slide to show you, this is a little bit different, of course. This is from the Mesonet program, but Windborne Systems global sounding balloons. So what are those? This is a large constellation of some long duration atmospheric profiling balloons. We're told the largest in the world. So these are going to provide wind speed and direction from sensors on a system called Atlas that are going up and down in the atmosphere for weeks on end and providing profiles. So we wanted to just do this, of course, on behalf of the National Mesonet Program, the National Weather Service commercial data lead, Curtis Marshall. We put his contact information there, and this is just an initial display to see what everyone may think or how it could potentially be used in the mission of a sort of a planner view. And the displays of the wind fields are by pressure, and you can sample the humidity and the temperature. So this is also available. We're eager to hear what kind of feedback there might be for application of this product, and we're going to provide more on it in a few weeks at the next book club on December 4th. It is under the satellite menu. That's just mainly because we can do some configuration control there. So obviously it's not a satellite product, but you can see the menu path there is under local items. If we go to the next slide, that takes us to the end of the overview of the products. We just wanted to reiterate that there's a link here to do the install at sites at their convenience, and to contact us if we could help in any way with the install.
Thanks to our presenters here. Before we turn to the audience questions, just a few friendly reminders. To view the facilitator and presenters during the Q&A session, change your layout from tile to hide tiles without video. The next SBC will take place in 2 weeks from now after the holiday break. It will still start at the new time of 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and the topic will be on the Tower Portal by Chad Gravel. Have questions about the SBC or satellite products, you can contact Sheila Kupai from the Towers team. Now let's get into the audience questions. Please type your questions into the chat. Just to give you a little bit of time here to get yours entered. A couple of questions I just thought of as we were going through the presentation is, who should sites contact for a question or concern about the TOWRpro RPM, including outages?
Yeah, so probably the best option there is our Slack channel, which I believe was mentioned on one of the last slides there. We're always monitoring that during the day, and we also have our email address that was also on that previous slide. That if you prefer to reach out to us by email, we're always available. And yeah, thank you, Sheila, for popping those into the chat.
Some other items. One of the questions I heard recently is someone asked about how long it takes to install the RPM and get all the new information configured and loaded and start getting data populated.
Hey, JV. Yeah, so for that one, the install you can plan on about 30 minutes to an hour. The install itself takes just a few minutes, but to really get the functions in place, the edexes need to be bounced. So really probably the majority of the time would be bouncing those edexes, more of them at the regional headquarters systems. But yeah, I'd say about 30 minutes to an hour.
And along the same lines of the install, does it rely on having a previous version of the TOWRpro RPM installed? Specifically, like do offices need to have the latest version installed?
Yeah, I can take that one too. The installs are standalone. So if you have not done it at all, if you're on a system that has none of this stuff on it at all, that's great. And if you had previous versions, that's great too. It only needs that one single install, but the key is to remove the old one. Just remove the old one, put in the new one. So.
All right. What kind of been the most exciting things that you all have kind of had your experience through getting this installed, and the new technologies you're using as we get more technology and more computing power and information, and kind of what are you most excited about with this new package?
Yeah, I'd say for me personally, JV, it was probably getting the new GeoColor enhancements in there. Curtis and the team out there at CIRA really did some great work getting those enhancements into the GeoColor and getting those ported over into the TOWRpro, the app infrastructure was particularly rewarding.
Yep, I know the app itself and everything and the RPM has been a blessing for us from the field. As an ITO installing this, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you're doing and putting into it to make the installs quick and easy. It makes all of our lives here in the field a lot better, and it provides a lot of great information to the field when they're using and learning more about satellite data and getting just more information just to make everything easier, especially like the dust. Spending most of my career in the Southwest, dust is a problem. So we absolutely love everything that you're doing to get more information to us and everything out here in the field. I'm not seeing a lot of questions roll in, but we do have a thank you. We have a gift from Benjamin Bartos up in for getting help Alaska with all the additional data.
Well, you all are certainly welcome. Our role here in TOWRS is to support the field and the mission of the Weather Service and whether if that's giving you new tools to work with, new data sets to work with, or like in the case of the GeoColor, when we put that into the app, it was because in large part because we were getting the GeoColor from CIRA, but it was eating up a lot of bandwidth on the regional LDM. So we saw an opportunity to move this onto the AWIPS backend, get that load off of the regional LDM. So, everything we do is about supporting the mission, and we're more than happy to do it.
Yep, I know getting all the improvements have been a blessing for us in the field because you're trying to look at a lot of information that I'm sure as you're coming in, as we've just added new technology, it feels like a giant fire hose. The more efficient that data loads and the more we can look at in the field and to kind of take that load out of cave and to improve load and performance. I know that is all greatly appreciated from all of us out here. So thank you for all the work that you all have been doing on that to get more of that efficiency and load and performance of cave itself. So everything's running. So when it comes time to start issuing the warnings, we don't have to worry about anything because cave's performing well because all the data are loading more efficiently. What other things, what's coming down the line that could be in the future are you all most excited about?
Well, JV, thanks for your kind words there, and on at the same time for doing some of the early evals that you and so many other of the offices do with us to kind of move things forward. As far as new things, it's the Visar sandwich there is the incremental improvements based on feedback. So hopefully there'll be more application there for that. So excited for that. That's one of the main things that comes to mind. And then being able to have some of the reference procedures and have that as a area that we can see if there's an area that can assist with quick references or new tools to share among each other with this. So those are a couple of things that come to my mind.
Yep, and to all of you out there in the field that volunteer, offer feedback, because as we can see from things like this, they use it. It's incredibly valuable to them, and you will reap the rewards later because they work very hard getting all this stuff ready to go for us. Without any more questions coming in, we can go ahead and hand things back over to Brian.
All right, JV, thank you very much for your facilitation. We really appreciate you joining us today. And I know I speak on behalf of all of the users and scientists to thank Matt and Lee for walking us through this RPM. They've done a lot of work. It's been a difficult year to get stuff done this year, and they've managed to cram a lot of functionality into this RPM. And it's ready to launch very soon, so we're excited about that. Thanks to both of them and the whole TOWRS team who makes it happen. Before we wrap up today's call, just a quick reminder, as JV let us know, join us not 1 but 2 weeks from today for the next Satellite Book Club, where Chad Gravel is going to talk to us about the Tower portal. Look forward to seeing all of you here 2 weeks from today at this new time. 17Z is our new time until further notice, 17Z. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for participating, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.